You think the refrigerator is the safest place in your kitchen? The truth is, it might be quietly destroying your health. One loaf of bread, one clove of garlic, one bottle of cooking oil at a time. Not fruit, not fast food, but everyday staples, foods you use constantly and store in the fridge with care, believing cold means clean, cold means safe. But for anyone over 60, that cold space can become a hidden trap for your weakened digestion, aching joints, and declining immune system. Each year, thousands of seniors end up in the hospital, not because of obvious food poisoning, but because of small daily mistakes, like storing potatoes in the fridge or keeping garlic beside vegetables. Habits that seem harmless are quietly triggering reactions inside your body, day by day, meal by meal. In this video, we'll walk you through 8 everyday foods, not fruits, that seniors should never store in the refrigerator if you want to preserve your health, clarity, and long-term quality of life. If you care about aging well, don't forget to follow our channel, because every choice you make in the kitchen can lead you one step closer to a stronger, healthier life. Have you ever put potatoes in the fridge because you were afraid they'd sprout too quickly? My mother used to do that, until her doctor told her that this very habit could increase her cancer risk. Sounds extreme? It is. Potatoes, which seem like one of the most harmless foods in the world, can actually turn into a silent chemical hazard when stored incorrectly. When placed in the refrigerator, the starches in potatoes begin to convert into sugars, a process called cold-induced sweetening. You might think, sugar? What's so bad about that? The danger isn't in the sweetness. It's in what happens next, when those potatoes are fried. At high temperatures, the sugars combine with the amino acid asparagine and produce acrylamide, a chemical that health organizations classify as potentially carcinogenic, especially dangerous for older adults whose liver, kidneys, and immune defenses are already weakened. I still remember my mother, 72 years old, living alone, frying up golden potatoes for breakfast. "The fridge keeps them fresh longer," she said. And at my age, grocery shopping every day is exhausting. She didn't realize that this small act of practicality might be slowly taking away the very health she thought she was protecting. Worse yet, the humidity inside the fridge softens the potato skin and can accelerate sprouting. And those little greenish sprouts? They contain solanine, a natural toxin that can cause dizziness, nausea, and in high enough doses, even affect the central nervous system. So if you truly care about preparing healthy meals, especially as you age, stop storing potatoes in the fridge starting today. What's the right way? Keep them in a cool, dark, well-ventilated place, away from direct sunlight. A basket lined with newspaper in your pantry is far safer than the gleaming cold shelf of your refrigerator. Your health doesn't begin at the doctor's office. It starts with how you store something as humble as a potato in the heart of your own kitchen. "I never understood why my eyes kept stinging every time I opened the fridge," Ellen chuckled, "until I discovered the culprit, a forgotten bag of onions tucked in the corner of the crisper drawer." Ellen Reynolds, 69, from Springfield, Missouri, is meticulous when it comes to cooking. She believed onions should be kept in the fridge to stay crisp longer. But what she didn't know was that onions don't do well in cold environments, and for older adults, that mistake can lead to more than just a loss of flavor. Onions have a unique structure, high in water content and protected by thin, papery skin. When stored in the fridge, a cold and humid environment, they're prone to becoming soft, mushy, or even developing mold from the inside out. Certain types of mold can produce mycotoxins, which are harmful compounds that may cause digestive issues, stomach pain, and strain an aging immune system. Worse still, if you store a cut onion in the fridge without sealing it properly, it will absorb odors from other foods and release a strong, pungent smell that lingers throughout the fridge. In Ellen's case, her eyes watered every time she opened the door, not because the onion was too sharp, but because sulfur compounds were being released into the cold, enclosed air, causing irritation. I asked her, "What did you think the fridge did for your onions?" She replied, "It keeps them from shriveling." But the truth is, onions should be stored dry and cool, not cold, just like how my grandmother used to hang them in the root cellar back in Iowa. Proper storage tip. Keep whole onions in a cool, dry, well-ventilated place, like a mesh basket hanging in the kitchen corner. Avoid storing them near potatoes. The two spoil faster together. If already cut, wrap tightly and use within 1 to 2 days. A properly stored onion gives you a sweet, gentle flavor, not tears and a lingering smell every time you open your fridge. If you've ever kept onions in the fridge without knowing the harm, drop a number 2 in the comments below, so you know you're not alone. If garlic can upset your stomach when stored the wrong way, then another food, soft, familiar, seemingly harmless, may be quietly aging your digestive system every single day. Bread. As a clinical nutritionist, I've seen many older patients complain about difficulty swallowing, mild stomach discomfort after breakfast, or unexplained constipation. And one common thread I often discover: they keep their bread in the refrigerator. You might do the same, maybe to avoid mold, maybe to keep it fresh longer. But here's the truth. The fridge doesn't preserve your bread. It actually speeds up its decline. When you store bread in the fridge, a process called retrogradation occurs. The starch molecules in the bread start to crystallize, causing the loaf to dry out, harden, and lose its soft texture much faster. Not only is it less pleasant to eat, but cold bread is harder to digest, especially for older adults with slowing digestive enzymes. What's worse, the fridge's cold, moist environment allows bread to absorb strange odors, and can even foster invisible mold growth inside the crumb, where you can't easily see it. Eating moldy bread without knowing it can lead to digestive irritation, minor allergic reactions, or worse in people with sensitive systems. My advice: keep bread at room temperature, stored in a paper bag or airtight container, away from moisture and direct sunlight. If you won't eat it all in time, freeze it. Don't refrigerate it. Frozen bread preserves texture and flavor far better than refrigerated bread ever could. Bread is a comfort food across all ages, but how you store it will determine how it makes you feel after every meal: light and satisfied, or sluggish and uncomfortable. So, how old are you today? Leave your age in the comments below, so we know who's walking this journey toward better health right alongside us. Some mistakes in the kitchen make no sound, no smell, no color, no immediate pain. They quietly chip away at the value of something you've always believed was good, bit by bit. And honey is a perfect example. Sweet, golden, and often called nature's medicine, honey has long been a staple in healthy diets for seniors. It soothes the throat, boosts immunity, and supports digestion thanks to its natural enzymes and antibacterial properties. But what makes honey so precious is also the reason the refrigerator is not where it belongs. When you store honey in the fridge, especially at temperatures below 10 degrees, 50 degrees Celsius, a process known as cold crystallization begins. Glucose crystals form, causing the honey to harden, lose its smooth texture, and sometimes appear spoiled. More importantly, this process can disrupt the natural enzymes in honey, reducing the nutritional benefits that older adults especially need. Some people even try to fix crystallized honey by heating it, accidentally destroying heat-sensitive vitamins and antioxidants in the process. What was once a natural remedy becomes nothing more than sweetener. To make matters worse, cold honey can easily absorb moisture from the air when opened in a humid environment, altering its consistency and increasing the risk of contamination if not properly stored. This is particularly concerning for seniors with weakened immune systems. Proper storage tip. Always keep honey at room temperature in a tightly sealed glass jar away from direct sunlight and high humidity. Don't worry if it crystallizes over time. Just place the jar in warm, not boiling, water to return it to its smooth state. Honey was once called liquid gold by ancient civilizations. Don't let a simple mistake turn it into a cold, lifeless jar sitting forgotten in your fridge. Are there other foods in your kitchen that you might be storing the wrong way, without even realizing it? It doesn't make a sound when it goes bad. No obvious change in color, no strange smell right away. But once you start cooking with oil that's been stored the wrong way in the cold, your body will be the first to feel the consequences. Olive oil, sesame oil, flaxseed oil, these are often called liquid gold for the heart and brain, especially vital for those over 60. They're rich in unsaturated fats, known to lower bad cholesterol, improve blood flow, reduce inflammation, and support cognitive function. But all of those benefits depend on one crucial condition: proper storage. Many people, worried about spoilage or rancidity, unknowingly place cooking oil in the refrigerator, thinking it will extend its shelf life. But in reality, the opposite is true. When stored in cold environments, especially below 10 degrees or 50 degrees, unsaturated fatty acids can solidify, forming a cloudy layer or white clumps. This isn't a sign that the oil has gone bad, but it alters the texture and flavor, making your meals taste odd, unpleasant, or stripped of their natural aroma. Worse, some oils, like flaxseed or pure sesame oil, are extremely sensitive to temperature changes. If you chill them, then repeatedly bring them back to room temperature for use, it accelerates oxidation, causing the oil to turn rancid, lose its nutritional value, and even form harmful compounds over time. Proper storage tip. Keep oils in a cool, dark, dry place, away from direct sunlight. Use dark glass bottles and seal the cap tightly after each use. For ultra-sensitive oils, short-term refrigeration may be acceptable only if recommended by the manufacturer, and they should always return to stable room temperature before use. Cooking oil is a quiet source of nutrition in every meal for older adults. But you may be even more surprised because the next food is more common than oil, and the most improperly stored item in American households. For older adults, a new day doesn't begin with an alarm clock. It begins with the aroma of coffee. Julia McMillan knows this better than anyone. As a geriatric nurse with over 15 years of experience caring for seniors in long-term care facilities across the Pacific Northwest, Julia deeply understands the power of small routines, those quiet rituals that help older adults feel grounded in a world that's slowly changing around them. And for many of her patients, a warm cup of coffee is the beginning of everything. But from that very ritual, she discovered a common problem: coffee being stored in the refrigerator. Maybe they think it helps preserve the aroma, Julia says, but for seniors that habit can cause more harm than they realize. Coffee, whether whole bean or ground, has an exceptional ability to absorb moisture and odors. When stored in the fridge, especially if not sealed properly, it picks up the smells of surrounding foods like fish, garlic, or cold cuts, losing its original flavor that made it so enjoyable to begin with. Worse, coffee can develop hidden mold, which poses a real danger to those with weakened immune systems, especially due to mycotoxins like ochratoxin A. Julia recalls caring for an 83-year-old man who complained of headaches and discomfort after drinking home-ground coffee that had been kept in the fridge for over a month. He told me the coffee tasted off, bitter and odd, but he drank it anyway because he didn't want to waste it, she recalls. Julia's advice: store coffee at room temperature, in an airtight container, in a cool, dark, and dry place. Never refrigerate it, unless you live in a very hot and humid climate. And even then, use a vacuum-sealed, moisture-proof container. Seniors don't need much, Julia smiles. Just a day that starts the right way. And sometimes that begins with not putting your coffee in the fridge. But if coffee lifts the spirit, then the final item on our list affects something far more essential: your digestion. And it's often the most overlooked of all. We've talked about potatoes, onions, garlic, bread, honey, cooking oils, and coffee. 7 everyday items found in nearly every kitchen. But there's one last food we need to talk about. Not something you eat, but something you trust blindly: your refrigerator. Not all foods belong in the cold. Not everything stays safe just because it's in the fridge. And especially for those over 60, mistakes in storage can do more than dull flavor. They can increase the risk of illness, digestive issues, or serious complications you never saw coming. You see, the most common mistakes often come from too much caution, fear of spoilage, mold, or bacteria. But that fear often leads to the wrong decisions, like refrigerating bread until it becomes hard and indigestible, or chilling olive oil and losing its valuable antioxidants. And all of it stems from one very human belief: cold means clean. Cold means safe. The truth is different. Cold is just a condition, not a guarantee. Every type of food has its own rhythm, structure, and storage needs. There is no one-size-fits-all solution, especially when your body is becoming more sensitive with age. So instead of asking, "Do I have enough room in the fridge?" ask yourself, "Am I putting the right things in there?" Take a look at your refrigerator today. Is there a potato shivering in the back? A bag of coffee soaking up the smell of garlic? A bottle of honey quietly losing its golden magic? Your health isn't only shaped by what you eat, it's shaped by how you care for what you love. If you've ever mistakenly stored any of these foods in the fridge, drop an emoji in the comments. Let's start changing our habits. One small decision at a time. Taking care of your health in later life doesn't begin with prescriptions or doctor visits. It begins in your kitchen, where every small choice carries long-term impact. Simply storing a potato, a clove of garlic, or a loaf of bread the right way can be your body's quiet thank you. Not today, but years from now. If you found this information helpful, take a second to like this video. It's the simplest way to tell the algorithm you care. Subscribe to the channel so you won't miss practical tips on nutrition, daily habits, and living well after 60. And if someone in your life, your parent, a loved one, or a friend, is still unknowingly storing garlic or honey in the fridge, share this video with them. Sometimes one small change can be the beginning of a healthier, lighter life. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell, because good advice for your health should always arrive on time. And leave your age in the comments below. We'd love to know who's walking this journey with us.